All right, guys, welcome back. Here we go. Happy Saturday. I got a request almost a week ago talking about or asking basically what are the pros and cons of recovery. Made some notes. Here we go. Just gonna get right into it, man. It's the weather's pretty bad today, so I'm not gonna be hitting the streets. So I decided to knock this video out at the storage, right from headquarters. All right. So I got three pros and three cons. It's pretty wild to think, right? What are the pros and cons of recovery? It's going to be different for everybody. The first pro that I thought of is the overall improved healthcare and self care, right? That comes with recovery. I no longer have to destroy my body, right? Depending on what you're using, it might do different things. Depending on how you use things, how you use certain drugs, right? It's going to affect you maybe a little bit different, whether you're, IV or smoking. I don't have to worry about that. I do not have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about losing weight. I was on opiates, right, for so many years, 13 years, on and off. As I mentioned before, I couldn't eat unless I was high. That's just one of the side effects that comes with using. I couldn't eat unless I was high. It's so crazy. When I'd wake up in the morning, last thing I want to do is eat. If I didn't eat for a certain amount of time, of course I would start to get a little bit hungry. Whenever I tried to eat something, I would just get really nauseous and just, eventually just start gagging. I couldn't smell food, start gagging, dry heaving, and after I smoked my stuff, I was able to finally get something down. I always try to stay hydrated, even when I was dope sick. That's pretty much all I could ingest, those like liquids, like Gatorade or whatever, right? Soda. Sometimes even then, it was tough. So I don't have to worry about that. Also, lastly, in regards to improved self care, overall health and wellness, I get to get back to working out again. I've always maintained like a healthy lifestyle for the most part. My diet always needs attention. I love me a good soda. I love me a good ribeye steak, a good burger, wings. Like I just love it, man. It's a really good treat. Like when I do work out, it makes me want to live healthier, right? Since I've been back in the gym after working out, I want to eat foods that I could benefit from, right? High protein, low fat. So it's just a really good thing, man, just to have the privilege, have the desire to want to work out. When I was dope sick, when I was out there using, I lost so much weight, and I was really self-conscious about the way I looked. I did not like looking in the mirror at all. At all. It was it was a disgusting sight, right? That is not me. That is me in active addiction. That is me making all the wrong decisions in life. That is me living the same day over and over again. It's ridiculous. The second pro is no more legal issues. That is a definite pro about recovery, about my recovery. I don't have to worry about stealing from anybody, from anywhere. I don't have to worry about stealing. I don't have to worry about pawning things that aren't mine. That was one of the ways I used to get money while I was dope sick. Like there'd be times in between paychecks, my check would be gone like within the first few days, maybe the first week, at the most. And then I'd be scrambling, right? I have to scramble, try and get one over on somebody or somewhere, right? I don't have to worry about stealing, no money, nothing that I have to pawn, nothing like that. So the improved healthcare and no more legal issues. Those are huge. Lastly, the third pro. There's so many, but these are three that I can think of at the top of my head. So lastly, rebuilding of relationships. That's a huge one. It's a beautiful thing, right? If you're fortunate enough to have family, if you're fortunate enough to be able to over time get them back, like if they welcome you back into their lives after all the dirt you did, it's a beautiful thing. I'm just real thankful for that, right? Not only my immediate family, but just my family in general, all the solid people out there that love me, right? Everyone that loves me, it feels good to have that back, have them back. Also, I do not have to hang around like old using buddies. I don't have to hang with the dealer. I saw my dealer pretty much nearly every day. I mean, there'd be times where I'd get a good amount to where I don't have to see him the next day. I don't have to see him anymore. I don't have to go to an occasional random house with random people, call on random people, see if they got anything, if they could get anything, right? Just cutting out all the old people that don't benefit me in a positive way. I mean, that's basically it in regards to that. Like, just cutting out old using friends, acquaintances, all of that. I don't have to worry about that. And a huge one for me is the fact that I get to have my pets back, right? My pets learn to trust me again. My pets learn to love me again. Of course, their love is unconditional, but when I was at my worst, I wasn't fully there for them, right? Emotionally. They pick up on emotions and vibes really, really well. And I just wasn't there for them as I should, right? Like, I'm just so glad, like, for the rest of their life that they get to have me back while I'm healthy, like alive and well. You know, it's a damn good feeling, man. Just to have family, friends. It's just good to have everybody back. All right, so let's get into the cons. The cons of recovery. So I guess the first con is like the stages that come with early recovery. Like when you're first starting to get clean, sober, you're going to have to experience withdrawals. Opiate withdrawal is one of the worst, like physically. It just doesn't feel good, right? But that is like one of the first hurdles. After acknowledging you have a problem, then you have to like detox, right? Whether you're detoxing in your house or at a rehab facility, detox center, like you're gonna have to get through that hump there, and it hurts. It physically hurts, and then you might have to go to rehab for a certain amount of time, 30 days, up to 4 months, maybe even longer if you're blessed with that. I went to rehab for 4 months. It took me a long time to realize how big and how much of a blessing that was to be able to go to rehab for that long. You know, it was tough. I had to put in a lot of work to get to where I am today. And also, like after rehab or even while in rehab, you're going to have using dreams, you're going to have cravings. Cravings come in various forms and at like the most random time. For me, man, I really don't have cravings anymore. But I would have, the only time I do think about anything negative like that is having an occasional beer. Like beer wasn't my main addiction. Opiates was obviously, right? But occasionally I'll be driving or hear a certain song and that will trigger me to think about drinking. Like, damn, a nice beer sounds good right now. Or if I'm eating certain foods like a burger or some chicken wings, right? Nice cold one sounds really good. It always sounds good. In rehab, you're going to hear, play the tape through. I know what's going to happen if I pick up that beer. I'm not going to I can't just have one beer. I'm going to keep drinking all night. I will drink your beer. And before I leave, I will be running through your bathroom cabinets, see what kind of pills you have, what kind of medication you got, right? Like it just turns me to a freaking animal. Anyway, that was a tangent right there. And then lastly, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. After you get passed through like the physical detox, everything inside of you is going to start recalibrating. Your levels eventually over time will start getting right back to where they should be. And that does a number on your body. You're going to have highs, like you're going to be happy, and then suddenly or sometime after that, you're going to have really low lows, like depression, anxiety. You can be irritable. So all of that comes, you know, in early recovery. And that's the first con. Second one is maintaining my recovery. Maintaining my recovery. It is a 24/7 ongoing effort. You always got to be on your game. You can't be hanging around with old friends. Anything that triggers you, you're going to have to find out your triggers. You're going to have to develop a certain game plan on what to do when those things pop up. So the 24/7 ongoing effort, staying on top of your recovery, especially in the first year, a couple of years, however long, the rest of your freaking life. Things will get easier as time goes, but you can't put down your guard. Complacency has always been huge for me. Every time I got like overconfident, super comfortable, I tend to put down my guard and, say F it. I got some money in my pocket. Let me treat myself. Let me bust out the foil. Let me bust out the straw. And then I'll just get a case of the F-its. In addition to that, adapting to an entire new lifestyle. You basically have to learn how to live again, right? I was in my addiction for 13 years on and off. And then when I got clean, when I got sober, I had to basically learn how to live again. It sounds crazy. You might not understand it, but those who have been in my situation definitely understand it. Like you're basically training yourself how to function as a human being. I'm not talking about learning how to walk, learning how to talk. I'm talking about learning how to function, how to be myself. You know, just I had to reteach myself how to do things, in certain situations, right? How to react. I lived so long in autopilot mode, right? If I wanted to use, I used. If I wanted to drink, I drank. But now, when I want to drink, when a thought pops in my head, I know what to do, at certain points. So many coping mechanisms, coping strategies that I didn't use back in the day. I didn't give myself a chance. I could have picked up the phone and see if somebody could talk me out of it, but no, I didn't even want anybody else to know. If I wanted to get high, I just hop in my car or the bus or throw on my shoes, just hit the ground running, right? Operation Pickup. Nothing's going to get in the way of that. Just learning how to live again. That's as best as I could explain it, man. That was a huge one. It was super hard. As you get older, and if you finally get clean, you might experience, mild depression. Like, damn, I wasted so much time. I wasted so much time. If you're like me, a thinker, we're always thinking about that. Not all day, every day, but the thought is there, right? I always have to like recenter myself, reground myself, and just remind myself I'm okay, and I'm doing everything I can at this point with the cards I'm dealt with. So just basically dealing with myself without getting to use. Like without me having the dope to fall on, that it was pretty tough in early recovery. I didn't have that outlet. Now I have to show up for myself, for my pets, for my family. I have to show up for life, just showing up for life, not having that crutch of using could be tough at times, but it's the most rewarding thing, right? If you didn't give into your triggers throughout the day, if you get to go to bed without using, without drinking, that's a success right there. I was gonna tie in a third con, basically, like no longer getting to use. I was gonna use that in its own category, but I'd say that is probably one of the strongest cons right there towards recovery is not being able to use, not having that crutch to fall back on, not being able to get away from here, right? Because when I got high, nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. All that mattered is how I felt at the moment and my next fix. And that was, it was really easy, really convenient not having to stress about anything. My only stressor was how am I going to get my next fixed? My only stressor at that time was when is my drug dealer going to answer the phone? When's he going to be available? How long is it going to be until I'm able to pick up again? I was addicted to the ritual of getting high, of having a roll of foil under my passenger seat, ready and available whenever I needed it. I was addicted to that routine, ripping that piece off, laying the black tar on there, laying the H on there, and just lighting up. So not being able to do that, that was a huge, huge problem for me in early recovery. Like it was a huge stressor. Now I got to deal with myself. How the hell do I do that? So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this one. Those are the pros, those are the cons in recovery, in my recovery. Thanks for watching.